This story is inspired by real events and documented moments from Amy Winehouse's life. Some scenes have been dramatized to capture the emotional truth of her fight for artistic integrity. Amy looked at the contract, read the same paragraph for the third time, then looked up at the executives sitting across the table. No, the word hung in the air. Sharp, final. Nick Gatfield, head of Island Records, blinked, set down his coffee cup. "I'm sorry?" "No," Amy repeated. She pushed the contract back across the polished conference table. "I'm not signing that." It was 2002, late August. Amy Winehouse was 19 years old, sitting in a conference room on the 8th floor of Island Records' London office. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Thames, expensive art on the walls, leather chairs, everything designed to impress. 5 executives, 2 lawyers, 1 manager, and 1 very stubborn teenager. The contract in question represented more money than Amy had ever seen, more money than her father had made driving a taxi in 10 years. A multi-album deal with one of the biggest labels in Britain, and Amy was walking away from it. Nick Shymansky, her manager, looked like someone had punched him in the stomach. He was 21, just a kid himself, working for Simon Fuller's 19 Management. This was supposed to be his big break, his first major artist signing, and Amy was blowing it up. "Amy," Nick said carefully, his voice tight, "maybe we should take a break, talk about this outside." "Nothing to talk about," Amy said. She was still looking at Nick Gatfield, not backing down, not softening. "I'm not changing my music. That's not negotiable." Gatfield leaned forward, trying to maintain his professional composure. "Nobody's asking you to change your music, Amy." "Yes, you are," Amy said. She picked up the contract, flipped to a page she'd marked with a bent corner. "Right here, section 4.3. Artist agrees to collaborate with label-approved producers and songwriters to ensure commercial viability of recorded material." "What does that mean?" "It's standard language," one of the lawyers said. A woman in a gray suit, voice clipped, professional. "All our contracts have similar clauses." "It means you want control," Amy shot back. "You want to tell me who to work with, what songs to write, how to sound, what to wear, how to market myself." "That's not what it means at all," Gatfield said, his patience starting to fray. "It just means we want to ensure quality. We have producers who know what works commercially, who understand the market, who can help you reach your full potential." "I don't care what works commercially," Amy said, her voice flat, matter of fact. The room went silent. This was not something executives at major labels heard often, especially not from 19-year-old unsigned artists. Gatfield tried a different approach, softened his voice. "Amy, we believe in you. That's why we're sitting here. That's why we're offering you this opportunity. This kind of deal doesn't come along every day for new artists." "I don't want your opportunity if it means compromising my music," Amy said. "Nobody's talking about compromising," Gatfield insisted. "We're talking about collaboration, about putting together the best possible team to showcase your talent, to help you succeed." Amy shook her head. "You want to make me into something I'm not. I'm a jazz singer. I write my own songs. I work with producers I trust. That's not changing." One of the other executives spoke up, a younger guy, mid-30s, trendy glasses. "Amy, you have to understand the reality of the music business. Labels invest a lot of money in new artists, recording, marketing, touring. We need some assurance that investment will pay off." "So you want me to sound like everyone else on the radio," Amy said. "Safe, predictable, commercial." "We want you to be successful," the executive said. "You want me to make you money," Amy corrected. "There's a difference," Nick Shymansky interjected. "Amy, maybe we can negotiate some of the terms. Make sure you have more creative input. Find a middle ground." "I shouldn't have to negotiate for creative control over my own music," Amy said. She stood up, pushed her chair back. "It's my voice, my songs, my art, not yours." She looked at each person in the room, making eye contact, making sure they understood. "Thank you for the offer, but I'm not interested." And she walked out, left the contract on the table, left the executives sitting there in stunned silence, left her manager scrambling to figure out what just happened. Nick Shymansky caught up with her at the elevators. "Amy, wait!" She stopped, pressed the down button. "What? Do you understand what you just did?" Nick's voice was shaking, a mix of anger and panic. "That was Island Records, one of the biggest labels in the UK. They were offering you a major deal, a real chance. They were offering me a cage," Amy said. The elevator dinged, doors opened. She stepped inside, with nice bars, but still a cage. Nick followed her in, hit the button for the ground floor. "You're being dramatic." "I'm being honest." Amy leaned against the elevator wall, arms crossed. "Did you read that contract? Really read it? They want approval over everything. Producers, songs, image, marketing, album artwork, tour schedules. I'd have no say in anything." "That's how the industry works," Nick said. "Nobody gets complete creative control on their first album. You have to prove yourself first. Build trust. Show them you can deliver. Then I'll prove myself somewhere else," Amy said. The elevator reached the ground floor. Doors opened. Amy walked through the Island Records lobby, past the gold and platinum records on the walls, past the receptionist who'd been friendly when they arrived, out into the London afternoon. Nick caught up with her on the street. "Amy, stop, please." She stopped, turned around. "What?" Nick took a breath, trying to stay calm, trying to think clearly. There might not be a somewhere else. Labels talk to each other. They network. If you turn down deals, word gets around. They'll think you're difficult to work with, unreasonable, a liability. "I am difficult," Amy said, "and I don't care what they think." "Your career? My career is mine," Amy interrupted. "Not theirs, not yours, mine. I'm not going to spend the next 5 years making music I hate just to make some executives rich. I'd rather be broke." Nick stared at her, this 19-year-old girl from North London with more conviction than most people twice her age, more certainty about who she was and what she wanted. "You're serious about this?" he said. Not a question, a realization. Completely. Even if it means starting over, finding another label, maybe taking a smaller deal with less money, even if it means that, Amy confirmed. "I'll work in a shop if I have to. I'll sing in pubs for free, but I'm not selling my soul to a record label." Nick shook his head, half frustrated, half impressed. "You're either the bravest person I know or the most stubborn." "Both," Amy said. A small smile appeared. "Definitely both." They stood there on the sidewalk, people rushing past, London traffic humming, Amy waiting for Nick to either accept her decision or quit as her manager. "Okay," Nick finally said. "Okay, we'll find another way." "Thank you," Amy said. What Nick Shymansky didn't know yet, what nobody in that conference room knew, was that Amy had been preparing for this moment her whole life. Not consciously, not deliberately, but every experience had been teaching her the same lesson. Don't let people change you. Don't compromise who you are to make others comfortable. When she was 12, a teacher told her she needed to be less opinionated in class. Stop raising her hand so much. Give other students a chance to answer. Amy told the teacher that if the other students wanted to answer, they should raise their hands faster. When she was 14, at the Sylvia Young Theatre School, she was told to remove her nose ring. Against school policy, made her look unprofessional. Amy refused, got in trouble, eventually left the school. The nose ring stayed. When she was 16, a boyfriend told her she'd be prettier if she smiled more, if she wore less black, if she wasn't so intense all the time. Amy broke up with him, wore more black, got more intense. By 19, Amy had learned a fundamental truth. When you let people change you, you lose yourself. Piece by piece, compromise by compromise, until you don't recognize the person looking back from the mirror. She wasn't going to let that happen, not with her music. The one thing in her life that felt completely hers, completely true. That night, Amy went to the Cobden Club in Bayswater, a tiny jazz venue where she'd been singing regularly for months. Tuesday night residency, backroom performances, maybe 40 people in the audience on a good night. She sang standards, Billie Holiday's Strange Fruit, Dinah Washington's What a Difference a Day Makes. Songs older than her parents, songs that made sense in a way that modern pop never did. After her set, an older musician came up to her, a saxophonist named Marcus who'd played with some of the British jazz greats back in the 70s. Now he mostly did session work and small club gigs, but he still had that spark, that love for the music. "Heard something interesting today," Marcus said. "Ordered them both drinks at the bar." "Yeah?" Amy said. "Heard you walked away from Island Records." Amy looked at him sharply. "Word travels fast." "Music business is a small world," Marcus said. "Everybody knows everybody." "So, is it true?" "Yeah, it's true." Marcus nodded, sipped his whiskey. "Good." "Good?" Amy was surprised. "Good," Marcus repeated. "You've got something special, kid. Real talent, real voice. Don't let anyone take that away from you." "That's what I'm trying to do," Amy said. "Keep it." "Good," Marcus said again. "Because the industry will try. They always do. They want to sand down the edges, make you palatable, safe, marketable. They want to turn you into something they can sell." "That's what I'm afraid of," Amy admitted. "Then stay afraid," Marcus said, his voice serious. "That fear will keep you honest, keep you sharp. The minute you stop being afraid of compromise is the minute you've already compromised." Amy thought about that, about compromise, about fear, about what she was willing to give up and what she wasn't. Money? She didn't care about money, never had. Grew up working class. Her dad, Mitch, drove a taxi. Her mom, Janice, was a pharmacist. They weren't poor, but they weren't rich. Amy worked at a tattoo shop, sold vintage clothes at Camden Market. She knew how to get by on nothing. Fame? Maybe someday, but not at the cost of her art. Not if it meant becoming someone she didn't recognize, someone she didn't respect. Success? Define success. If success meant making music she hated for people who didn't understand it, Amy didn't want it. She'd rather play small clubs forever and stay true to herself. Control? That was everything. That was the line she wouldn't cross. The moment she gave up control of her music was the moment it stopped being hers. 3 weeks passed. Nick Shymansky worked his contacts, sent out Amy's demo to other labels. Got some interest, but nothing concrete, nothing that felt right. Then he got a call from Darkus Bees, an A&R rep at Island Records, one of the younger executives who'd been in that conference room. "We want to try again," Darkus said. Nick was skeptical. Amy was pretty clear about her position. "I know," and she was right. Darkus paused. "Look, we talked to Nick Gatfield, reviewed the contract, had some honest conversations about what went wrong. That first contract was too restrictive. We were treating Amy like a pop star when she's clearly not that." "So what are you proposing?" "A different approach," Darkus said. "More creative freedom. Amy gets to choose her producers, co-write all her songs, have real input on the sound, the marketing, everything. We support her vision instead of trying to shape it into something else." "Why the change of heart?" "Because Gatfield realized something," Darkus explained. "Amy's not like other artists. If we try to force her into a box, we'll lose what makes her special. Better to let her be herself and see what happens, even if it's risky, even if it's not the safe commercial choice." Nick thought about it. "I need to talk to Amy." "Of course, but Nick, this is genuine. We really do want to work with her, on her terms." That evening, Nick met Amy at a cafe in Camden, her neighborhood, her turf, told her about the new offer. "They're willing to give you more control," he explained. "Real control, over the music, the production, the image, everything." Amy stirred her tea, suspicious. "What's the catch?" "No catch, just they want you to trust them, to believe they're on your side." "Trust is earned," Amy said, "not given." "I know, but this might be your best shot. Island is a good label. They have distribution, resources, a track record of breaking new artists, and now they're willing to let you make the music you want to make." Amy was quiet for a long time, thinking, really thinking. This wasn't about the money anymore. It was about partnership, about whether she could work with people who understood her vision, who wouldn't try to change it. "I want to meet with them again," she said finally. "But not in their office, Not in a conference room. Somewhere I feel comfortable. Nick set it up. The Cobden Club, Amy's home turf. The following Tuesday, before her regular set, Darcus Bees and Nick Gatfield showed up, dressed down, jeans and casual shirts, trying to meet Amy on her level. They sat at a small table near the back, ordered drinks, no lawyers, no other executives, just three people trying to have an honest conversation. "I owe you an apology," Gatfield said. "Direct, no corporate bullshit. That first contract was wrong, too controlling, too restrictive, too focused on protecting the label's investment instead of supporting the artist." Amy nodded. Didn't say anything, waiting to hear more. "We were thinking like a major label," Gatfield continued, "trying to minimize risk, maximize commercial potential. But that's not how to work with someone like you." "Someone like me?" Amy asked, her tone challenging. "An artist," Gatfield said, meeting her eyes. "A real artist, not a product, not a manufactured pop star. Someone with a genuine voice and a genuine vision. Someone who knows exactly what they want to say and how they want to say it." "So what changed?" Amy asked. "You did," Darcus said, "walking out like that. Most people would have signed, would have taken the money and dealt with the consequences later, would have compromised first and regretted it later. But you didn't. You stood up. For your art. For yourself. That told us something important," Gatfield added. "It told us you're serious, that this isn't just a phase or a hobby or a way to get famous. It's who you are. It's your identity, your purpose." Amy took a sip of her drink. Red wine. Cheap. The kind the Cobden Club kept on hand. "So what are you offering now?" "Partnership," Gatfield said. "Real partnership. We provide the resources, the studio time, the distribution, the marketing budget, but you make the music, you choose the producers, you write the songs, you decide the sound. We support your vision instead of imposing ours." "And if my music doesn't sell?" Amy asked. The crucial question. "If it's too jazz, too weird, too different from what's on the radio? If teenage girls don't buy it? If it never goes platinum? Then we deal with that," Gatfield said. "But we're not going to compromise your art to chase commercial success. We believe in you, in your talent, in your vision. We think authenticity will find an audience, even if it takes time." Darcus added, "Look, Amy, we're taking a risk here too. We're betting on you, on jazz-influenced music when the charts are full of pop and hip-hop, on honest lyrics when most artists are singing about nothing, on a 19-year-old who won't compromise when compromise is usually how this business works. But we think it's worth it," Gatfield said, "because you're the real thing, and the real thing always matters, always finds its audience, always lasts." Amy looked at Nick Shymansky. He nodded. This was real. This was different from before. "Okay," Amy said, "let's try it, but I have conditions." "Name them," Gatfield said. "I want creative control in writing. I want approval on producers. I want to be involved in every decision about my music. And if at any point I feel like you're trying to change me, trying to make me more commercial, trying to sand down the edges, I'm out. No second chances. No negotiations. I walk." "Fair," Gatfield said. "And I want all of that in the contract," Amy added. "Not just verbal promises, in writing, with clear definitions of what creative control means." Gatfield smiled. "You're tough." "I have to be," Amy said. "The industry eats people like me alive. Women especially. Working class women most of all. I'm not going to be eaten." "Not on our watch," Darcus promised. They shook hands. Right there at the Cobden Club. No lawyers, no conference room, no corporate performance, just four people agreeing to trust each other, to try something different. The new contract was drawn up over the following weeks. Amy's lawyer, a music industry veteran Nick Shymansky, found, reviewed every clause, made sure the creative control language was specific, enforceable, real. Amy got everything she wanted. Choice of producers, final say on the sound, approval on marketing materials, the right to walk away if the label violated the agreement. In return, she gave Island Records her debut album, Frank, named after Frank Sinatra, one of her earliest influences. A mix of jazz, soul, and contemporary R&B. Honest lyrics about relationships, Identity, growing up. No compromises, no commercial calculations, just Amy's truth. The album was recorded over several months in 2002 and early 2003. Amy worked with Salaam Remi, a producer she'd connected with early in the process. Their chemistry was immediate. Salaam understood jazz, understood soul, understood what Amy was trying to do. But even with creative control, the process wasn't easy. Because making an album with a major label meant dealing with a lot of people, and all of them understood Amy's vision. Marketing teams wanted her to be more approachable, more girl next door, less intense. Radio promoters wanted her to record more up-tempo tracks, singles that could get airplay. A&R reps kept suggesting she work with other producers, more commercial producers, people who'd had hits. And Amy kept saying no, kept fighting, kept protecting her vision. It was exhausting, frustrating, sometimes infuriating. But she didn't back down. Frank was released on October 20th, 2003. Amy was 20 years old. The album received generally positive reviews. Critics praised Amy's voice, her lyrics, her maturity. But it wasn't an immediate commercial success. Debuted at number 60 on the UK charts. Slowly climbed to number 13 over the following months. For Island Records, that was disappointing. They'd hoped for a bigger splash, a faster climb, more immediate impact. But Amy didn't care about chart positions. She cared about the music, and the music was exactly what she wanted it to be. In early 2004, Amy did an interview with The Guardian, and she didn't hold back her frustrations. "Some things on this album make me go to a little place that's fucking bitter," she said. "I've never heard the album from start to finish. I don't have it in my house." The interviewer asked why. "Well, the marketing was fucked. The promotion was terrible. Everything was a shambles," Amy explained. "It's frustrating because you work with so many idiots, but they're nice idiots. So you can't be like, you're an idiot. They know that they're idiots." She went further. "I hate them fuckers, man. I've not seen anyone from the record company since the album came out, and I know why. They're scared of me. They know I have no respect for them whatsoever." Nick Shymansky read that interview and felt his stomach drop. This was going to cause problems, major problems. But Nick Gatfield's response surprised everyone. He called Nick Shymansky. "I read the Guardian piece. Nick, I'm sorry. I'll talk to Amy about being more diplomatic." "Don't," Gatfield interrupted. "Don't talk to her about it. She's right. The marketing was terrible. The promotion was inadequate. We didn't understand what we had. We tried to push Frank like a pop album when it's clearly not that." "Oh," Nick said, not sure what else to say. "We're learning," Gatfield continued. "Learning how to work with Amy. Learning how to market an artist who doesn't fit any category. It's a process. Tell her I'm not mad. Tell her we're going to do better." And they did. For Amy's second album, Back to Black, released in 2006, 3 years after Frank. This time, Amy had even more control. Worked almost exclusively with producers she chose, Salaam Remi and Mark Ronson. Made the exact album she wanted. Retro soul, girl group influences, deeply personal lyrics about her relationship with Blake Fielder Civil. And Back to Black became a phenomenon. Multi-platinum, 5 Grammy wins, one of the best-selling albums of the decade. All because Amy refused to compromise, refused to change, refused to be anything but herself. Mark Ronson would later say, "Working with Amy was incredible because she knew exactly what she wanted. She had this complete vision. Every detail mattered, every chord, every lyric, every vocal inflection, and she wouldn't settle for anything less than perfect. That's rare. Most artists will compromise when pressure comes, or when they're tired, or when someone tells them something won't work commercially. Amy never did." Nick Shymansky reflected on that first meeting years later. The contract Amy refused, the executives she walked away from, the risk she took. "People asked me if I thought she was crazy," Nick said in an interview. "Walking away from that kind of money, that kind of opportunity, but I didn't. Because I saw something in her eyes that day. Absolute conviction. She knew who she was, what she believed in, what she wouldn't compromise on, and nothing was going to change that. That's what made Amy special," Nick continued. It wasn't just her voice, though her voice was incredible. It was her integrity, her refusal to be anything but herself, her willingness to walk away from everything if it meant staying true to her art. But there was a cost to that integrity, that refusal to compromise, because the same strength that protected Amy's art also made her vulnerable in other ways. She couldn't compromise in relationships, couldn't back down from fights, couldn't moderate her behavior even when it was destroying her, couldn't bend even when bending might have saved her. The same all-or-nothing approach that saved her music eventually contributed to her downfall, because Amy didn't know how to be anything but extreme, absolute, uncompromising. But in that conference room in 2002, none of that mattered yet. In that moment, Amy was just a 19-year-old girl who knew what she wanted, who wasn't afraid to walk away from everything to protect it. Years after Amy's death, Nick Gatfield talked about that first meeting, the contract she refused, the second chance they gave her, the partnership they built. "Amy taught me something important about this business," Gatfield said. "She taught me that the best artists are the ones you can't control, the ones who push back, the ones who fight for their vision, the ones who won't compromise no matter how much money you offer them." "We wanted to shape her," he admitted, "make her fit our idea of what a successful artist looks like, make her safer, more marketable, more predictable. But she wouldn't let us. And thank God for that. Because the Amy we tried to create would have been forgettable, generic, just another voice. The Amy she insisted on being was unforgettable, unique, irreplaceable." Darkest Bees echoed that sentiment. "Working with Amy changed how I approach A&R. Before her, I thought my job was to find talent and mold it, shape it into something commercial. After Amy, I realized my job is to find talent and protect it, support it, help it flourish on its own terms." The conference room where Amy refused that first contract is still there. Island Records still uses it for meetings. And sometimes when new artists come in to discuss their deals, executives tell them about Amy Winehouse, about the girl who said no, who walked away, who fought for her art even when everyone told her she was wrong, even when it seemed like career suicide, even when compromise seemed like the only logical choice. Some young artists hear that story and think Amy was foolish, that she should have taken the deal, should have compromised, should have been practical, should have thought about her career. But others hear it and feel something shift inside them, feel permission to stand up for themselves, to fight for their vision, to say no when something doesn't feel right, to walk away from opportunities that would require them to be someone they're not. Those are usually the ones who make it, who create something lasting, who matter, because they learned from Amy that compromise kills creativity, that the minute you start changing to please others, you've already lost what made you special, that integrity matters more than money, that being yourself is always worth the risk. In her short career, Amy Winehouse recorded 2 studio albums, Frank and Back to Black. Both made exactly the way she wanted them, both uncompromising, both completely her. She could have made 10 albums if she'd been willing to compromise, to play the game, to be easier to work with, to make the music executives wanted instead of the music she needed to make. But they wouldn't have been Amy's albums. They would have been products, manufactured, safe, forgettable, disposable. Instead, we have 2 perfect records, 2 documents of an artist who refused to be anything but herself, who chose integrity over everything else, who made art on her own terms or didn't make it at all. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's exactly what her legacy should be. Not the tragedy, not the addiction, not the tabloid headlines, not the cautionary tale, the music, the art, the absolute refusal to compromise. That 19-year-old girl in the conference room saying no, saying, "I'd rather be broke than make music I hate," saying, "My career is mine." That's Amy Winehouse. That's what we should remember. The girl who couldn't be changed, who wouldn't be controlled, who made art on her own terms or didn't make it at all. In an industry built on compromise, Amy Winehouse never learned how to bend, and that stubbornness saved her art even as it destroyed her life. But the art remains, perfect, uncompromising, true, just like Amy wanted it, just like she fought for it to be. Even when everyone told her she was wrong, even when walking away seemed crazy, even when compromise seemed like the smart, practical, logical choice, Amy chose herself, chose her art, chose integrity. And the world is richer for it, more honest for it, more real for it, because once in a while, someone comes along who refuses to play the game, who insists on making art that matters more than art that sells, who stands up and says no when everyone expects yes. Amy Winehouse was that someone, that rare artist who couldn't be bought, couldn't be changed, couldn't be molded into something more palatable, couldn't be anything but exactly who she was. And 19 years old in a conference room, looking at a contract that would have made her rich but changed her art, she made the choice that defined everything that came after. She said no. And in doing so, she changed music history forever. If you're an artist struggling with pressure to compromise your vision, remember, your voice matters, your art matters, your integrity is not negotiable. Stay true to yourself even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. For mental health and creative support, help musicians. UK 0808 802 8008. Music support. UK Addiction Charity for Musicians. www.musicsupport.org. The Ivers Academy for songwriters. www.iversacademy.com.